And welcome to the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. We are meeting at Town Hall Conference Room and the time now is 7 p.m. Sorry for the delay. We neglected to inform LCTV that of the time change. Going to do a roll call of members present. My name is Steve Gannon. I am the chair. Mr. Andy Ruggles, vice chair.
Present.
Member, Mr. Jeff Town.
Present.
And to appoint Jeff as a full voting member. Absent this evening with prior notification is member Mike Bosky, Mr. Christopher Burns, and Board of Selectmen Representative Stephen Weber. We have consideration of previous meeting minutes, but we're sitting down here that the meeting minutes were not sent out. They're posted on the Google Docs. So we're going to table the meeting minutes for this meeting, for the May 10th meeting, our last meeting, until June, what our next meeting?
July 12th.
12th. Thank you, Judy. Public input. We know why you're here. We know why you're here. Is anybody else? Are you guys all together? Yep. Okay. So first we'll go off with facilities and field requests. We have Healthy Kids Running Series, Sarah Hilson. Roy Memorial Park, Sundays, 9/11, 9/18, 9/25, 10/2, 10/16, from 3 to 6 p.m. It's a nonprofit, about 100 kids. 50 to 99% of them are from Litchfield. Miss Brennan, Secretary Brennan, do we have on file?
Yes, we do.
And Litchfield as a
This
certificate
Town of
holder?
Litchfield and Healthy Kids Running Series.
How about the expiration date?
It is 11/29/22, so they will be done
For that.
before it expires.
Perfect, thank you. This is, I think, the second or third time Healthy Kids
Yeah,
has
I think the
held
third
this session. I watched one of them last summer and it was actually a lot of fun to see. So Chris Burns is a little girl running around.
Oh, I went and watched the 2 and 3-year-olds. It's pretty cute to watch.
Is for the fields or the town hall or both?
It's the fields.
It's the fields,
Yeah,
yeah.
they run like
Sounds
along
nice.
the fence, and
Yeah.
then older kids are more outside and around Talent Hall and around the field.
Over in the
Yeah.
woods area.
I'll make a
Just did-
motion to approve the request as stated.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There's no nays, no one to abstain. The motion carries 5-0-0. Judy, will you notify Sarah that she's approved? Oh, it's not until September, so she's got some time.
I told her we were meeting tonight, so
Okay.
she had everything in, so I told her.
Awesome. Second is the Merrimack Strikers Adult Soccer. I think this is an over 30 league. Hyder Alwyn, he's looking to use Sawmill Brook Field, number 1. Sundays and Wednesdays starting 6:15 to 7:31, so tomorrow night. 6:30 to 8 p.m. Nonprofit, about 28 players, 50% from Litchfield. This is certificate of insurance on file.
Yes.
Listed.
Town and New Hampshire Soccer Association, U.S. Adult Soccer.
And how about the expiration date?
Expiration date, 1/1/23.
But, I do see LYSL at Sawmill during that time. I believe last time they worked around each other. I was hoping Mike Bosky would be here since he is our soccer liaison.
Yeah, he basically said it in
It's
an
good to go.
email too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he didn't have a problem with it last year.
so they should work together.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an
There's
issue.
not much going on at Sawmill. It's just they have a couple of camps this summer that I know about.
Okay. All right.
There's plenty of space.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Alwyn Hyder or Hyder Alwyn's soccer over 30 league at Sawmill on the
Thank you.
requested dates. Second.
Thank you, Peter. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. No no's and no abstains. Motion carries 500. I will reach out to Hyder right after this meeting to let him know he's a go for tomorrow. I know we submitted this before our last meeting, but we didn't have enough members. Move old business and new business so that we can get Harry in and out of here. Harry, if you want to come have a seat at the table, state your full name, address, the usual course of action. Jeff, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn this over to you. Jeff and Harry are going to do a little postmortem on the fishing derby.
My name's Harry Menzigian. I'm a member of the Conservation Commission in Litchfield. And first thing I'd like to do is Jeff and I would like to thank everybody who helped us out, who volunteered. And it turned out to be a very successful event. So we do appreciate the help and like to thank everybody. The other thing I'd like to do is if the Recreation Committee could send a letter to Paul Lemire, thanking him for his donations and his worms.
You need lures?
Pardon?
Yes.
The lures.
Yeah.
And his lures.
Lures and all sorts of fishing.
Oh, no question about it. That would be greatly appreciated. And I think that he would,
Yep.
and I'll also give him a,
Overall, I think it was just a success from
yes,
top to bottom.
yes,
I think we had 54
yeah.
kids registered, and I don't know, had to be over 100 people there, 150 people down at the park.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
I went down there thinking, oh, I don't.
Yeah, there was some
know what I'm gonna do. I'm
crazy
not touching worms,
young lady
whatever.
with a
I just
camera
took pictures of everybody.
running around like, you know,
But
unbelievable.
I had a great time.
Yeah, we had great
What I thought it
support.
would be.
Statistics. Now, this is based off our registration, okay? What we had is we had a total of 54 kids registered, okay? The age groups and kind of not surprised me, but were about basically what it was, is the largest age group was 0 to 8, and they were roughly 32. 9 to 12 was 20. 13 to 15 were 2. And then it kind of, age 7 had 12, and it kind of, you know, drifted off from there. So again, on the register, there were roughly 72 fish caught, okay? And that averaged out to 1.2 per kid, or 1 fish per kid, basically.
And what did we put in there? 350?
Pardon?
How many fish did we put in?
About 350. So, and then there were roughly about 22 kids that didn't catch anything that had a good time. So, all in all, the weather cooperated, and I was a nervous ninny about that. And with the police department's help and the highway department, we had one minor incident with an EMT and a child, a boy who was disadvantaged, apparently slipped and fell. And the worst thing he got was a bloody nose, but the EMT was there. We had no hooks in the hands, eyes, and the hair, that was fantastic. I mean, I don't think I've ever been with a group of children where you've ended up with basically nothing, you know, no emergency. So,
Yeah.
That was the post-mortem type of thing. And
Great support from the fire department,
oh
police
yeah,
department,
no
the highway
question about
departments,
it. Absolutely.
and Troy took care of some things for us as well.
Yeah.
Wagon Wheels Donuts was there, so that was
Steve got to play with a new tractor.
That's right. Get to cut grass for 5 hours.
Yeah. And we-
So
we
that
took
was a
some
plus
notes
there.
for next year, just a
Yep.
few
Now,
tweaks, but
So you're on the hook for next year. Let's take note of that.
okay,
we'll pass on the notes to whoever.
yeah, I'm on the hooks. Jeff, you on the hook?
I'll be the photographer.
We'll see. Okay.
We'll see. TBD.
Well, I'm definitely on the hook. And Jeff put together quite an extensive document, and kudos to Jeff for doing it. It took care of some situations that, we were scrambling like for the first time that are resolved. So the one thing he did mention, and I'd like to bring it up and get the okay, Jeff has suggested doing May 6th. Now, I just happen to have a 2023 calendar in front of me. So the 13th is, Mother's Day is the 14th. So May 6th, I think,
First weekend in May.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're partnering with Mother Nature, and,
Hmm, could be snow.
could be almost anything, so
Catch some
Uh,
salmon, maybe.
I'd like to target that day.
Okay. Yeah. I
Okay.
like it.
Now, the things that we probably could have done better, and the very first thing that came across my mind was advertising. Now, Steve and your group advertised on the social media. Jason with the Conservation Commission advertised on the social media. The one thing we forgot were the schools. Okay?
Oh, that would have been good.
The parents all knew about it, but the rules and the prizes, the award of prizes, we forgot to advertise that. Okay? We let everybody know when they came there, but that was too late. That's one major improvement. Next year that when we do it, we'll make sure that that's done. And I don't see any reason why we couldn't include St. Francis. Is there any reason?
Yeah, we do it for baseball.
Pardon?
We do it with baseball. We send a flyer over to them too. I can get you all the names for the appropriate people to
Okay.
get flyers to at the schools because they have to approve them and then they distribute them.
Okay. The other thing, the Minzigian manual chart needed some improvement, and Jeff did do some corrections. Is one I'll have to get with you that was just missed, but I mean, you did a good job. There's no question about it. And he did a whole bunch of rules. The other thing was on loaners. Now, we got a little bit confused on that. We managed to make it through, okay?
Yeah, worked out.
Let me just ask you guys, what's your feeling on loaners?
Well, I think if you have 2 and 3-year-olds, they're probably not going to have a pole for the most part, and so I think it's good to have a few extra. I don't think every parent can go out and buy a pole for a 2 or 3-year-old, and they might not like it and
Yeah.
doesn't get used again. I mean, we could probably find some funds to donate some as loaners and keep
think-
them over the years. They don't.
Well, right now, what we have left out of everything is that we have about 3 regular fishing poles, that 3 or 4, I still have them in my garage.
Yeah.
And we have a few junior fishing poles. So I
I think it makes sense to have a few on hand, first come, first served,
like
one
something
per
like
family.
5 or 6 or something.
What
like
did you
that.
notice? Like what age bracket didn't have a fishing rod? Were they little kids? Or
They were, no, it was mostly, believe it or not, it was like between 6 and 9.
Okay. I'm under the feeling that if a kid comes to fish, he's interested, and I say we send him home with a rod. I think I'd rather see turn into new anglers. I don't want him to come down, fish for a couple hours, and then he has to give it back. I'd rather send him home with it.
I like that idea too. And I don't want anybody
Yeah, I
excluded
bet-
because they can't afford to buy their own.
I bet if we went to,
So-
you know, what are those fishing stores,
So-
they would donate
Okay,
I think we could get
a
donations.
bunch. Yeah.
Harry did try this year, but I think also because of post-COVID supply and demand, just all kinds of
Sure.
issues. And it was kind of short notice, but it might be something that we could address, But,
okay, so we do want to go for loaners.
Yep, either loaners or give them away. I'd rather give them away than give them as private prizes. If a kid shows up and wants to fish, let him fish.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Because, it's one of the activities that we hadn't considered, and it was a little bit of scrambling to
Do you agree?
I would. I think we can probably get donations from it in town. I think most people have an extra
Yeah.
pole or two that they're looking for a
We-
way to
yeah,
get rid
we
of.
could
So
too.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
People have them laying around.
It all
So-
worked out. Nobody went without a pole.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and then just to let everybody know, I had a lot of the prizes at home, and the people, the kids came and everybody was excited. They were really, they all had a good time, and they all acknowledged it without me twisting their arms,
Yeah.
No, they, and it was funny. And this may sound, but most of the kids that showed up were with their mothers. Okay, and that's the way it is. And the kids themselves said they had a good time. And their mothers, one father said that in fact, one mother yelled at her son, "Why didn't you stick around? You know you won a prize."
Now,
So-
would you do it at the same location? Do you think it was successful at
Well,
Parker Park?
okay, moving on from that, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to talk to Gene over at Chase Brook.
Yeah.
And see if we can work something out, okay? I think, well, I'm going to do it this week, because if he can repair the dam,
Yeah.
okay, it would have to be June, July, August, because
Of this year?
that's where a lack of rainfall, we have the least amount of, watch this.
Yeah.
The least amount
Now,
of,
I thought it was more than just the damming. I thought it was also the amount of weeds. Didn't you have a
Well,
significant?
as far
Overall.
as the edge, now if we're gonna go early May, weeds are not gonna be a problem,
Okay.
okay? As Judy and Steve were down there, and Jeff and I, the plants were just barely coming out.
Yeah.
So 1st of May, and like you said, Steve, it may snow.
Yeah.
So,
So if we don't move it back to Mark Lane, I think it was still a nice, successful day at.
oh, yeah, yeah,
There
if
were
we
lots
just
of
take a-
shaded areas too, because it was
Yeah.
hot that day.
Yeah.
If the bridge ever goes through, to put in there that somebody left to the town and we're able to put that bridge across, it allow kids to spread out even.
If
yeah.
some beavers get down there and do a little damming, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of people had said they'd never been down there before, so they
Yeah.
realize there's a nice park down
It
there.
was,
that you can walk. I think it's beautiful
well,
down
when
there.
Jeff and I
love it.
were guarding the fish, the number of people that were actually walking down there kind of surprised me, because you very rarely see, a vehicle in the parking lot. The only fly in the ointment with Nessenkeg is if the community center becomes active, that'll limit the
Oh, the
parking.
community garden,
Yes.
there'll be plenty
Yeah.
of space. That's a very, very big field, I found out.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Thank you, Harry. Jeff, you have anything else you want to contribute?
No, unless
So-
there's other questions, I think we covered.
You guys did a great
Cover the
job
highlights.
organizing it.
Thank
I thought
Thank you
it
for-
went extremely well. So
So what I'll do is I'll call Paul.
Yep.
We can get that letter out to him. I'd appreciate that.
Yep.
And Jeff and I will get together, and
Yeah, we'll
now
see.
that we've gone through the major hurdles and not worry about so many things, we should be all set. Jeff, you got
Yeah.
any?
No, we do Chase Book next year. That's fine. If we go back to Parker Park, that worked out well. I think it'd be fine.
So again, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you,
for your
Harry.
work.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Well, We
Appreciate it.
definitely want Judy buzzing around with the camera. No question
I
about
wasn't
it.
touching fish or worms, so I found a job.
Thank you. The last thing is we have, reminder Spirit of Litchfield is next Saturday, the 25th. The next Saturday? Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 a.m. to, they're setting up, 11 to 3 p.m. They're going to have crafts. They're not having a petting zoo, cornhole, food, burgers, bring your own lawn chairs, blankets. Looking for squirt gun donations. If you don't want to donate, bring your own. And I've spoken with the fire department. They're going to have a truck for show and tell. And if it gets really hot, they'll break out the hose and squirt the kids down.
I'll get it up on the Facebook page. On the rec page.
They wanted a bouncy house, but that is a no-go.
Also no go with baseball's insurance.
Yeah.
I checked today.
Rebound device or whatever they called it.
Yeah, they just said flat out no.
All right. That's all we have for old business. We have a bunch of other things that a large list that we're to cover, but I think we'll hold off until we have a full commission. All right. So, Secretary Brennan, Recreation Commission portal, document organization and storage.
Yeah, John Brunel created a portal for us. I just need to spend some time with it. We'll be able to create folders, archives. It'll be a lot easier to access documents. Like, I only have access to
What's been
documents
shared
we
to you.
have, right, what's been shared to me since I started the commission.
Yeah.
So if I'm going back and trying to find something, I can't find it, or I have to contact somebody else and ask if they can look through it for me. So this way, with this, it won't matter when you come on the commission, and we can have folders within folders so that we can have every archived by years and make it easier.
Perfect.
I'm trying to
Awesome.
track down the missing minutes too. I have to,
Forgot to ask one question.
Okay.
What do you want to do with the extra gear?
Save it for next year.
save it for next year.
No, I think he wants it out of his house.
Oh,
Not
Brandon
for
Gannon's
mine.
house.
I got too many granite posts and posts and all that kind of stuff that,
I'll reach out to you. We'll figure out
Save
some
the-
place to put it. I don't want to put it in town hall because it's still too wide open. Maybe we could put it in the,
With the tables, maybe?
maybe that's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's
We'll
locked.
find a home.
Yep.
I'll
Work,
get with Jeff.
yeah, work with Jeff and
okay.
he'll find a good home for it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Harry. You're using Google Sites, right? Is that what it is?
It's,
I thought that's what it was called.
down,
Google
but I haven't an
Sites.
email. Yes, Google Sites, and it's Recreation Portal, Recreation Commission Portal. And you also will also have access to documents for just commission members and then public,
Okay.
separate
Awesome.
public access one. I searched through everything that was at town hall, and there's a chunk of years where they have everything from every minute, all minutes from every meeting. And then there's some scattered ones, and Jeff mentioned there might be some of the files in Darrah, at Darrah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go through that. Whatever I find there, I think I'm gonna move it over to town hall. So we have all the paper copies, the hard copies, all in one spot, and I'll just put it in chronological order. And I reached out to former commission members, asking them if they had any minutes or if they had any idea what happened to some of those minutes. So, and one person was really good, got back to me right away, gave me some input, but of course her stuff was, well, we had everything already and all organized by meetings. So,
Don't they have copies in the town hall?
that's where I went. They have a
Oh,
binder
that's where you
for
went.
each
Okay.
commission or group.
Okay.
And so I think it was 2000, I did put it in an email, like 2007 to maybe 2010 or 11 was in there. And then there was only one from 2012 and one from 2013. So there's still stuff out there somewhere, and I'm going to check the file cabinet in the office upstairs.
There's a ton of stuff in that filing cabinet.
Yeah, so I'm going to take some time and go through that. And then get everything in one place,
And
and
we
I
have
just
to
need some
open that
time to
shed.
work on the portal to figure out how it all works.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that will make things really easy for us to look up and find and.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Boot camp at Darrah. Would you come have a seat at the table? Please state your name and address for the record.
Debbie Rice, 45 Tanager Way, Litchfield.
Debbie?
This is Annie, one of my members.
Hi, Annie.
Annie.
Okay. I don't even know where to start. So first off, let me say, I made the decision to lock the gate as a chair.
Mhm.
I'm not the president. I'm the chair. I have the authority to do that. The reason why the gate was locked is not a disciplinary action. It was not meant to be directed at anyone.
Mhm.
It was strictly a safety measure. As the school year winds down and the sport leagues start winding up, there's a lot of little kids running around, and their safety is my number one priority over everything else.
Yep.
So it's not uncommon for us to lock the gate. We didn't do it during COVID just because we didn't know what was going on. There was no activity. There was no sport leagues, and we didn't want to discourage people from getting outside.
Well, we did it. You guys did it in the beginning because I was locking it. It was
Um,
locked.
So I made the decision to lock it, and I also decided at that time it'll only be opened by authorized people. Our last lock set got lost. We've seen cars. I've been notified by the police department of cars being stuck on the beach. You go down there, there's people parking at the playground. There's people parking at the basketball court. There's just too much activity.
Yeah.
Recently, we had some irrigation heads replaced. Not saying it was from vehicle traffic. It was probably from the plow truck. But it's still regardless. I've witnessed myself people trying to avoid the potholes in the dirt and driving down the grass. 70% of our budget is field maintenance and turfs.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money, and I'm just not going to tolerate people driving down the grass.
Somebody drove across the field
Somebody drove across the field.
since it's been locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I
Yeah.
said, yeah, they went through the gate on the north side.
Yeah, and drove their kayaks down to the beach.
So like I said, it was not a disciplinary action. It's mainly a safety precaution. My commission is well aware of it, and they support me 100% of making that decision. Like I said, I will choose the children's safety over everything else, anytime,
Absolutely.
anywhere.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I'm in support of actually locking the gate, and I have been for years. I've been doing boot camp for 9 years there, and I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen drug interactions. I've seen cars drive their car and drive up the hill near the pond, making huge marks and dirt. And so I'm a supporter of that. What I wasn't a supporter of was you guys were in the know that I'm there. I've been there 9 years, and I've had a great relationship with former board. When John Bryant was the president, one time I showed up and it was locked. There was never a lot of consistency with the board of locking it or not locking it. So sometimes you don't know. And I got a call from him, and he said, "Debbie, I'm sorry. Here's the code. Just don't share it with anyone." So for 9 years, I've had no issues. So I get that you want to lock it. I think it's a great idea. I like a little warning that it happened because it literally happened and I was locked out.
So boot camp at Darrah is not recognized by the Litchfield Recreation Commission. If it was 9 years ago, it was 9 years ago. Currently, we do not have a facilities and field request. We do not have and New Hampshire State requires if you have to have a youth background.
I'm not
check.
around youth, but let me
Hold on, let me finish. So not being recognized, not being sanctioned, why would I notify you? You're not.
let me remind you of what happened in 2020. Let me speak, please.
I don't know.
I don't go to your
You don't know
meetings.
Who's down there? As you just
You're not letting me
witnessed.
speak. I just want to speak.
Hold on. As
Okay.
you just witnessed,
Yeah.
we have a process. We go through all three forms.
Do you
of
remember
paperwork.
what your process was in 2020? Let me
Can
explain to you.
No. You will sit
Okay.
and listen while I explain
It's
the
been
process.
same.
Oh no, actually, so
Once
if you saw the
since.
meeting in 2020, which is the last time I presented to you guys, Mike Bosky said that they were going to email me and every year get my insurance information. and you guys had no problem. There were a couple of you that had a problem with me being there, but
That was me.
yes, of course it was you.
Yes.
But other than that, there weren't. See, you for some reason you're gunning for me, and I don't know why you're so angry.
I'm not,
Okay?
because I'm trying to explain the process that
Well,
we're
just
going to.
take the anger down.
right. Quiet for 1 second so I
See
can
how
finish.
you're.
All right.
Oh my god.
How-
Here, please.
How's it going?
Good.
So first of all, I know some of the history of the boot camp. So I want to first recognize that I know the boot camp's been beneficial to a lot of residents in town. So, and with the rec commission, we like rec things and things outside. But the issue with the boot camp is now we got an issue around the lock. Things have changed with the lock. So that is true. It's changed over the years. The safety has become an increased concern. So we've had more activity down there, more vehicles down there. And where we have, had intermittent policy with the lock, with it being locked and allowing folks that are using the field to have access, they do not shut it. And that allowance for people to take vehicles down there for an event or something, they have not shut it. And that's, I think, been borne out by the different groups that have gone down there. We can't rely on others to lock it and shut it. And so that's what has changed, is that we've wanted folks to have access, the kayaks, that'd be
Oh,
lovely.
I understand that. I
That's
just
the
think
difference.
if I'm told that we're going to notify you and email you, and now I'm hearing new changes, you seem angry that I'm not in the know. I'm not in the know because I don't come to these
I'm not
meetings.
The
angry you're
process-
not in the know. You're angry you're not in the know because I don't know who you are. You're
Okay.
not recognized
All right.
by the Recreation
So-
Commission. That's what I'm saying.
I'll acknowledge communication could have been better. So let's just put that out there. Okay. So put that on myself, and, the communication would be helpful, whether you're recognized or not, because we
Yeah.
definitely did make a change with the locks. So
Right.
that's fair. We're going to be consistent now with that going forward with lock, except for authorized, events that are down there. And that's what I think is what we're trying to move
And as for
towards.
field, I don't read your mind. No one told me to fill field users because I've never had it for 9 years. So how am I supposed to know if you don't email me?
That's the previous commissions should have informed you. Of
You were on the
event.
commission. You were at the meeting 2020.
Wait,
I was
these forms were the same in 2007 when I used to do them for Litchfield softball league. The only thing that's changed is we've got more fields and there are more added, but there's always been a start date and a finish date.
I can't make the
And-
rules for you guys. I just know what they told me to do.
So as the chair, one of the things I decided to do, transparency,
Hmm.
and my commission is aware of that. Have always been there. They just have not been enforced.
But how am I supposed to know that?
I
Okay.
don't know.
There
I'm-
was a time because 7 minutes, and I believe you and I were at the same meeting because when I was looking through them and I was requesting softball requests, and it might have been your first year maybe for boot
I
camp.
wasn't doing this
But
in
you were
2007.
So maybe it was like 2008 or 2009 in the years I was doing softball. And your name came up that you were there to present for it. So at that point in time, and I know that's
Yeah. It was
years
probably,
ago, but
it was
there was,
probably
I know
19.
the forms have only added the fields. So
Well,
it
keep
was
in mind, I
probably your
emailed
first
you. I didn't
time.
hear back, but I emailed you. I don't use a field. So I use literally a grassy area, the pavement sometimes. And I've always been very courteous to anyone that's there. Like if I see, sometimes I'll go there, I'll use the basketball courts if they're empty. If I see kids coming, I might go into the woods. So I've never needed a field. I looked at your form. It doesn't even say anything about courts, which that's somewhere where I'd request. But right now I'm near the graffiti on Talent Hall. There's like big graffiti. I'm in that section. Nobody's using that section. I'm not. I feel like you think I'm a burden to you, and we're just working out.
No,
No,
going
no,
on.
I think what we want to be is consistent with our policy of we want folks to not have access through the gate unless they are an authorized, event or.
But I don't
entity.
even think this is about the gate anymore. This is about me now being at Darrah.
Well, let's keep the issue separate. So
Okay.
we'll start with that one, so we can include that one first, and then we can go to the gate. if that's
I don't
fair.
think I'm getting the code, just so you know. I can tell between my communications with Steve that it's not happening. So I'm here because Steve made it sound like we're going to vote to see. We need to see you every year to see if you can come to Darrah.
I stated the facts that we require all the organizations to come before us and provide those 3 pieces of information. And then as a commission,
Okay.
we determine if it works, if they have everything in place, are they authorized? That's all I said.
And that is
Well, I was told there would be a vote. So whether that was from a board member, yeah,
There's nothing to vote on. We don't have any paperwork.
because I don't use a field. I told you I
So
don't.
you could just check off Roy Memorial Park, like the healthy kids, they run along the fence.
Mhm.
They don't check off field 1, 2, or 3. They
So
just check
one of
off
the-
the heading Roy Memorial Park. So we have to know who
Yes.
is using our property at all
Okay.
times. It's a liability type of thing, and we have to be able,
And after
say-
COVID, what we
and that's
noticed,
everybody who uses them.
when
Because they're
things started
town
ramping
property.
up after COVID, we had a huge increase in demand of, can I do this? Can we use this? We now support the Boy Scouts. We had wrestling coming towards us. We're just a lot of people, because they were being told, no, you can't use our facilities, find someplace else. So we were scrambling. Probably the most daunting task of this commission is scheduling. That's why we need the paperwork, so we know who's doing what are they doing, when are they doing it, are they covered, and who's the primary contact. A lot of it is just, as you can see here, we're relying on each other to have liaisons, because we don't want to, soccer. Alan's going to be on the fields. Should he be on the fields? I don't want to say, yeah, you could use the fields. And then he goes down there, someone else is there. You ran into it. He said, well, I'm authorized. Andy Collins.
But I don't use the field,
Pinkerton.
so that's.
But
I nobody's using the area. I'm
using it as an example.
Yeah.
I'm all about consistency. I'm all about
And
transparency.
last
I
year,
need
was
that.
it Andy? Did you reach out to me? Was it you that reached out to me and said, I think there was something going on, like a basketball camp?
That was
and-
Collins. Andy Collins.
No,
No, it was.
it's
we
different.
were talking.
Yeah, and you had
Yeah.
said, "Is it okay if you go somewhere else?" I was like,
Yeah, you were
"Absolutely,"
completely
because I'm
amenable.
like,
Yeah.
I don't really use. I'll go wherever. I don't really need a set space. So if you want me to fill out a spot to say I'm going to be, because right now without the code, I can't go to the courts because I have too much stuff. Even just taking a yoga mat, a radio, water bottle, like going to the courts, I have dumbbells to bring. It's impossible. So I'm literally at the grassy area where nobody's at.
Okay, so now the second issue we ran into after COVID is people from out of town asking, can we use your fields? We also had private companies asking, can we use your fields?
Mhm.
It made the commission think, can we support this? Should we start opening our fields and renting them out to other towns and profit off it so that we could put the money back into the fields, right? Makes sense. Biggest issue is being able to schedule it. If we do it enough, can we possibly hire somebody to take care of the schedule, get a director, what have you? But it made us think, is it something that we could do? We said, yeah, it's possible, but we're just not ready to take that on. And that's where you fall into. You charge, do you not?
I do.
You're for profit. Are you a small company?
Yes.
You're a small company. Are you using town property?
Yes.
You are. So you're a small company profiting off town property.
Yeah.
As a taxpayer, I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay. The second issue is your insurance. Who is listed on your insurance?
Well, actually, you guys never said to put town of Litchfield, so I can easily add that.
So who is listed on your insurance? You are.
I'm listed. Yes.
So you are covered.
Yes.
Is
But that's an easy thing to change because even there's a spot when I fill it out that I could, but you guys never requested
Okay.
it from me.
But your prior one from that expired 2021 had both Litchfield and
Oh, did it?
you.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know I put
Because that was
on
the
there.
most recent one I could find until the one came in the
Okay.
email.
I can easily add that. There was a
Today.
spot to add it.
but I'm looking at the paperwork. As the chairman, I cannot authorize you to use town property. Let's talk about your certifications, your qualifications. Are you a certified instructor? Do you have a degree?
I am. I mean, I don't know why you make things so
I'm not trying to
complicated.
I'm trying to be
I am a
consistent.
certified.
You have a
trainer.
certification.
Yes,
okay.
I do.
So you're a certified
But
trainer.
I can't believe after 9 years of doing this in the
I
town,
wasn't on the
I do this
commission
for the, you know
9
what?
years ago.
I don't need to do this. I do this for the community.
None of us were on the
I
commission.
have
9
fun
years
with my
ago.
members. I love these women and they love coming.
I'm
But
glad to
honestly,
hear that.
I'm here for them.
My
I do
job
not wanna
as the
come.
chair is to look out for the town's best interest, to make sure the
But
property.
you're looking out for yourself as well.
No, I am not looking
No,
out
I
for
don't. He's not looking
myself.
out for himself. He's trying to enforce the policy of the board. So
Okay.
it is true that you had an exception that you were the only for-profit business that we have, given permission previously to use town land, right? So that is an exception and inconsistent with our policy.
Yep.
That's kind of at the heart of the matter. Now that's a broader discussion we can have that we've looked at in the past, because if Bass Pro Shop wanted to go down to Darrah and sell lures and sell classes, that could be a good thing for the town too. But then it's a for-profit entity making money off of town property. There's ways to do that. Other towns certainly do it, and I think there
Yeah.
could be benefit for the town. But I think it does, involve a fee structure. And that's something we've not crossed. So you do have an exception in that sense because when you go down there, right, it is different than just friends coming together to do yoga because of the liability, because it's a business entity
Right.
on that.
But there
property.
are other businesses that have done it. There was a boot camp at Sawmill last year or 2 years ago, and they also were doing it. There's been other opportunities that the Rec Commission has approved.
Not as,
I was on the board,
not since
but
I've been on the
For
commission.
profit?
2020, if you watch that meeting that I told you to watch, that one,
Was
they
it?
talk, actually, there was a guy doing it at Sawmill.
Yes, okay, and I went down there with the LPD and I had him escorted
No,
out.
yeah, actually, Colleen was talking about it. They approved him. He was approved and he was doing it there. He had a few members and
Was it the gentleman from Lowell, Mass?
no,
Oh,
This
there
was-
was
this was a
another,
resident.
another guy from Lowell, Mass up here, Lowell, Mass.
this was
doing the same
approved
thing.
and they had no problem with it, but I get it. It's a new board.
It's a different commission, it's a
And
different board.
Sure is.
Part of that commission is the minutes I cannot find. I've spent hours trying to find the minutes so that we would have that in front of us physically, not just for here, but for other things. When we have questions, how did this come about? Or we have a question and the missing minutes, I think, have a lot of answers. I'm just not sure where they are, but I've really been spending time trying to get that together. Like I said, not just for the boot camp, but there are, other things we've had questions about and
And-
somewhere out
In
there.
the insurance aspect too, this is something I have to talk with Troy about, as well as, going back to leasing out the fields, renting out the fields. What do we have to have in place? We have to have a fee structure. We have to have a schedule. We have to work with legal counsel to figure out what kind of insurance is required. Now, can we legally do it? There's a lot of these questions. As we start peeling back the layers of the onion, we stop and we think about it. Like, what do we have to do? And then should we even do it? Because if we allow you to do it as a private company, what about the gentleman in town that does kickboxing?
They
and
were
karate?
allowing that. That's
What
what I was telling
about
you.
the fitness center across the bridge? And now,
This
so
is
do we
very
pick and choose?
small, and I will tell you that I am making less than what a trainer would make at a gym. I'm not charging
That's-
a lot of money. This is for people to
I
come in,
understand.
get there. Please let me finish.
get that, and
Let me
that's-
finish, please. This is for people to come in, get a workout, drop their kids at softball, and head back and get their kids and go home. This is for convenience and fitness and well-being. I am not making a killing off this. I have a regular job doing bookkeeping and tax returns. I do not need to do this anymore. I do it because I do it for them. And I did not want to come here because of you, but I came. I came for them.
Good to know.
So, Audrey.
I just think that we're all fairly new to the board, and I say in the last few years. So if other boards chose not to follow the rules or guidelines there, I don't know what to do about that. But I am big on the transparency thing because we've seen it come up with other boards in town, and people want that transparency and the guidelines and whatever the legalities are. They're there, and we're trying to follow them.
So,
And there's going to be some backlash because, it was allowed, but some of it
Should have been
should
allowed.
not have been and just kind of was let slide for years. So, like, I'm not trying to be difficult with the situation. Like I said, I've looked back to try to find more information. And the fact that being a for-profit is different than being like a rec sponsored.
All the organizations that we
Yeah.
support are nonprofit. They have a president, they have a vice president, they have a secretary, they have a treasurer. At any time, the Recreation
I
Commission
thought you were
can,
saying that I'm
at any
not
time, the
here for
Recreation Commission
votes.
can audit their books or logs or whatever else, but they're all nonprofit. They all have, and they all come before us with all the
So what are you
information
saying,
that we
Steve?
need. What?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you are not an organization. You are a
Are you
small
saying you do not
for-profit
want me
company.
to train people at Darrah anymore?
I am saying at this point in time, you are not authorized to utilize town property as a small company because
So
it is
you're
a
saying
liability
you are no
to
longer
the
allowed
town,
to.
and I cannot support that as the chairman of
Okay.
the board.
So we have inconsistency in our policy, right? So let's just own that, right? That you were different than every other, organization that we gave. a
Well,
green
there's
light
been
to.
ones in the past, but they haven't lasted yet.
Okay, so that's what I think Steve is trying to enforce, which is about the board and the policy, not about Steve. And so just want to be clear about that. Now, can we find a pathway to make it work? Because like I said before, I think having for-profits come to town does offer services to the community and to members, as you just articulated there, right? So I think that point is on. It's something we should explore. It would involve insurance, which sounds like that would not be a problem necessarily. It would involve a request for field usage as a process to make sure we're all clear about it, which sounds like that would not be a problem. I think we would want a fee structure. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, it's not meant to bring home a lot of profit to the town so much as just recognize that.
Well, I wouldn't do it anymore if there was a fee structure because I'm not making that much money. So either the members would take the hit and pay what a normal place charges, because I'm not charging them what a normal facility. They go to Orange Theory, it's like $250, $300 a
Right,
month.
because you don't have the overhead.
Exactly. But if I have to start dishing out fees, I have a busy life. I have 4 kids. I am working, coming home, dumping equipment in my car, heading down to Darrah, throwing the equipment out. Now that I can't get in, it takes even longer to set up. So this is not something, I'm doing it for the members. And if there's a fee structure, I'm not in it making a ton of profit here. So I would just probably stop doing it.
So I don't think it'd be a heavy fee structure. First off, it's because our nonprofits often contribute to like the revolving fund, right, as a token back to the town to recognize a town asset was used in that event.
Mhm.
And so I guess let me ask the question this way, right? Because we're looking out for the taxpayers as well. What would be the answer to that if we're saying for-profits are coming in, making money privately, and we're not charging a fee?
Mhm.
Like, what would be the
Are the taxpayers upset or is it the board upset? Because anyone having a problem in 9 years, everyone seems very supportive and happy.
Well, I think that
not about you, though.
not everybody
It's about
The
is
slippery
even aware
slope.
of the situation.
It's the slippery
Well, I've
slope.
seen a lot of slippery things happen at the fields.
You're not getting any more.
And that's why we're trying to stick to our rules and guidelines and be consistent with everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think there's 2 things come to mind. One is I'm looking at the bylaws for the Recreation Commission and the field use form that's been there for years. You filled it out years ago, but not recently. I think the first next step, if you want to continue to use the fields in that way, then, just fill out that one form. And then it comes to the commission to make a decision on it. The question about for-profit organizations are not, in the bylaws, are not explicitly excluded, right? There's a hierarchy of
There's a
who
hierarchy,
comes first.
correct.
And the last group, which is where I think you would fit, but that's fine. Groups and organizations that have some ties to the community, and with insurance, listing the town as an additional insured. What you're doing is, for the most part, for the benefit of residents of Litchfield, right?
Mhm.
So from my perspective, it sounds like what you're doing is a benefit to people in the town, just like baseball or wrestling or the ropes course or other kinds of things. So I would, I think it's a reasonable kind of activity to happen there. The ropes course is an example of a for-profit company operating at
On our town
at
property.
Roy Memorial.
not under
Park.
us, though, under the school.
School.
There.
Well, there's a
And
but it's a for-profit company operating on Recreation Commission property, and they're doing it sometimes through the school. The group I met was a Londonderry cheerleaders, nothing to do with the Litchfield schools, nothing to do with anybody in Litchfield. It was the Londonderry school cheerleaders working with a for-profit company at Darrah Pond.
Was there any benefit going back to the town?
To this town?
Yeah.
No.
school,
They shouldn't have been
No.
doing
because the
that.
school, I believe,
Not
owns
to
the
this school.
equipment. Years ago.
Such a quagmire to
That's-
get into it now.
Yeah, so we don't want to go down that rat hole there, but that it exists, right? This is not a one-off case. There are other similar cases where, people are doing stuff
He's
for profit
100%
on
right.
town ground
And
without.
on Sawmill, people are paying people for training, not personal training, but for other kind of sports training. I know that for a fact. The problem is I am in communications with you. Those other people aren't going to ask for permission from you. And I've been legit for 10 years, asking for permission, going before you, telling you what I'm doing. Anytime I see an incident, I've been in communication with Bosky repeatedly when there's something happening. Like I see kids tipping over the porta potties, I've seen many things happen over there, and I'm always texting him saying, hey, just so you know, you might want to contact the police. This is happening. This is happening. I am eyes and ears there when you guys aren't there, and I see a lot of stuff happening. And a lot of times it's the younger kids that are hanging out unsupervised and doing stuff.
We've stopped a lot of kids from doing stuff.
Yeah, we've
just
had
by
it.
being
We've
there.
got to say,
Part
like,
of boot camp training, chasing
Yeah.
kids.
yeah.
Most of us are moms, so we know
Well,
how to
yeah.
use our mom
I
voice.
truly appreciate that. And as far as the other people who use the sawmill, we're not aware of it. Once again, it's one of those things we're not aware of. We're aware of you now. And as a commission, we cannot sanction you because you're a for-profit. I have to speak with Troy and the legal to find out what we have to do to make sure that you can do it. I don't have a problem with you doing it. You're taking me
I
all
think
wrong.
you do.
I don't.
think you
I,
do.
it means nothing to me. I
Well,
don't
if we were
care.
aware of others, we definitely,
I'm just trying
They
to
don't reach
be.
out to you. They don't
Right,
honest. Like
right.
this whole problem happened to me in 2020 when I reached out to you and said, hey, COVID's going on. I hadn't talked to you guys in years and said, hey, is it okay if I go back to the fields? And
See,
then all
now-
of a sudden I was like, hey, well, why are you there?
But if somebody was down, say like somebody goes down to a sawmill today, they're exercising, and soccer goes down there, and soccer says, we have this field, get off the field, and they give them any gruff. Well, then we'll be involved and tell them to move because we don't know they're there.
What about the guy that's getting $50 to train someone for an hour for soccer? I'm here and being legit
I'm
and
not aware of
upfront
him.
with you guys, and you've got that happening all over town, and you're just
but we
looking the
have
other
other
way.
jobs.
Aware
We
of it.
can't
Not looking
be
the other way.
everywhere.
Literally
do
No,
not
we
know
would be
about,
doing
like-
something.
But don't act like it doesn't exist because it does.
I don't know if it exists. I'm not aware of it.
It
Yeah,
does.
I haven't seen it.
I'm not. I don't make assumptions
I'm
either.
not gonna say it hasn't.
I mean,
doesn't exist. That's-
You're sure they're getting paid? I mean, all the pitching I do with the girls
You do not get paid.
is small groups, or I've done one-on-one and they take no payment for it. But somebody might perceive me as giving pitching lessons and assume I'm taking payment, but in the 10 or plus years, I'm not taking payment. But if we were aware somebody was doing that consistently, then we would definitely.
I'm just saying, don't punish the
Right.
person that's coming and being open and upfront with you guys.
This is not.
I personally would love to see it, how we can
Thank
figure
you.
out how to get it going, because I think it's a great program. I mean, I think people need exercise. I think we are in a society that doesn't get enough exercise. So, I mean, if we can figure out, like, talk to Troy and see what the legal ramifications are, like, I'm also concerned that, they took a stance back then, like, how can we change our mind now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't
That's
make
why
sense
I've
to
been
me
looking,
either.
too,
For
for all those missing minutes for years. There's a lot of things that could have happened. We have no idea about.
right. I'm just a guy. Like, I'm not an attorney or anything like that. Like, I don't know how all of this works. Like, honestly, I'd love to see it be able to. I'd love to see all of you be able to use it, because that's why we have these
Thank you.
fields.
So
But-
it sounds like we have consensus that, for-profit businesses using town property for a fee is something that we could support because
Right.
it brings a benefit,
Absolutely.
right? No one's disagreeing with
Right.
that.
Yes.
Right. It's about setting up a process to make that so the town is covered for liability
To-
and that.
We could even write we're just, as I said, we started discussing this, and then we're like, we're all volunteers. We all work full time. Well, some of us. Jeff recently, luckily, retired. But we all got to the point when we started discussing this: is how much more effort can we put in to this commission to support external companies coming forward? Because the scheduling and everything else is difficult. But in this situation, we can make the fee structure that if it's less than X number of dollars, there's no payment, or there's a small percentage, or if you have, X number of Litchfield residents participating, it's all quite possible. But when we started looking at it, it was overwhelming, and we just did not have the time to take it on just yet. And then it starts opening up all the legal ramifications. Right now, I think we require $1 million insurance from the organizations, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same for private companies. The legal team might come back and say, no, they have to have this, this, and that. We
Or
don't
like
know.
the ropes course might have more.
The ropes course is just
Its own
oof.
entity. Yeah.
We're so withdrawn from that. We tried to pull it underneath us, but it's a long story. But it's just the legal aspect. Now, I would say we were turning a blind eye to you being down there. We knew you were doing it.
Of course, you.
With the
I was
forms, and
approved
we
in
do.
2020, and some of you were there. You were there.
I think I was an alternate.
I think
was an
you
alternate,
were.
yeah.
Maybe your voice was there.
I was
couldn't tell who
literally
was
brand
there.
new.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all virtual. approved then, not this year, not last year.
Right. That's why I'm here.
Just for the, I mean, it does say on our website now. I don't know when it came up. It does say yearly approval is needed.
Yeah,
on
that's
our-
new. He told me that.
Oh, okay.
That's
No, I don't know. Maybe it just got added. I have
Really
no
has
idea.
gone back years and years
Yeah,
because
but-
that's the same form they ask the start and ending date.
I guess my point is
And no
that
one ever had me tell. I don't even remember ever filling out a
Because they
form
didn't,
back when I
they
got
didn't
a.
enforce it. That's,
Well, 10 years ago, they
Yeah.
thought it was a great idea and there was no issues. It was just like, that's a great idea. People need to work out more. That'd be great. Just get us your insurance. That was it. It
Yeah,
was
but
very
we-
easy.
But if we're saying, okay, we didn't actually look at the real issues, liability, that type of thing, like now we are. So I hear your point, but just because we made a mistake then doesn't mean we should keep making it, I think. But at the same time, it feels like we all want to support you and support a process that
Most of
it's
you.
just you. I think all of us do because it's a broad issue, right? 'Cause
support
It's not
it.
just
I
about.
just can't authorize it at this point.
So what does that mean for me though? Because I've taken money from people and I have 2 more weeks of this session. I don't know what you're saying. Are you
I'm
saying?
saying that boot camp at Darrah as a small business cannot function on town property until I speak with
How can you
legal.
just do that like without giving me any
Well,
warning?
I think
Because
we don't
you're
have the
not
paperwork
sanctioned.
to.
Yeah, we
We don't.
don't
I
know.
think
But you're just
beyond
telling me
being
this
beyond
today.
being a business or not.
We didn't know
In
you were there.
2020,
until you
there was
came to
no
me.
criteria. You guys said just get us your insurance, and that was
I didn't
it.
say
And now I'm
that.
finding out today I've
I
taken
didn't say
money
that.
from people and still
I
owe
didn't
them
say
these
that.
workouts.
I did not say that.
You were there,
I didn't say
and
it.
everyone agreed.
I didn't say it.
You are so difficult.
I'm not difficult. I'm just rigid in my ways.
No, you're
I am
just
structured.
difficult. You're just difficult.
I
So how many more sessions do you have? You said 2 weeks?
I have this week and 2 more weeks.
This week. And how many sessions have you had in this season or whatever you've had?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 2 or
2,
3. Yeah.
Okay.
I started probably in April and May.
You're about halfway through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have another one already lined up that you've charged folks for, like later in
No.
the summer, or anything like
No.
that? Okay. When would be the next opportunity that you'd look to?
I would do it as soon as this one ends, like the last week of this one, I would do it.
So early July.
No, the last week of June is when I would start saying, hey guys, the next session starts on Monday or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
You're not being fair, Steve. I literally been doing this for
Jennifer,
9
it's not-
years. It's such a slap in the
Debbie,
face.
It's not about, it's not, I'm not, I am trying to be fair.
No,
with
you're power
everyone.
hungry.
No,
I
he's-
am
he's
not power
If
hungry.
anything, he's
You
trying
don't
to be.
know me. You're,
Hold it, Steve.
No, enough.
I'm not power hungry. I am
He's
just
trying to be consistent with our policy that we as a committee have been
But it's
inconsistent with
unfair.
over
If I've
time.
been here
It's
for
not about-
9 years, is there any, I mean, I've had no incidents in 9 years. You're worried about the liability, this and that. I owe these people 2.5 more weeks of fitness. And you're sitting there saying, no, you can't. I mean, you're just ridiculous.
It's a liability to the town.
I have
can-
insurance.
As a chairman, I
But we're
cannot
not
say
listed
yes,
on
you
the new
can.
insurance. Just you are the town.
Okay,
of
well, I
Litchfield.
can add
That's
you.
Number one is that the town of Litchfield's missing on the
I
insurance
can add you to the
that was
binder.
emailed today.
And is it enough insurance?
Is that something he gets to just decide, or is there a vote if I can finish the session for my
It's
clients?
nothing to vote on.
Yeah, if you submit the form that I've only been here for 6 months and we've looked at a couple dozen, other people have found understood the process.
I mean, I have a
and
class
used
on
it.
Thursday. So are you saying that I cannot train these people on Thursday?
Look, I want to find a path forward here because I think that there's been a couple issues with communication. The policy, going forward is going to be as Steve said. Now we need to review how we address the bigger issue of for-profits coming on, using town property, setting up a structure, which is not about you or your organization. It's about how we.
That could be something
set
that takes you
policy.
guys months and months. I only do this in the nice weather. So you guys sound like you got a lot on your plate, and this is not top.
I'll send the
your
email
agenda.
tonight. It's
But I mean, talking about a structure of for profits, I mean, that's a big project you're talking about. So it's basically not going to work out.
But
for
do you
boot camp.
understand like how it will work if the slippery slope, if we say yes to you, if somebody else comes up and says, well, can I do it? She does it.
And
then we
that's
say,
what's
"No,
happened.
she-"
And people have gone to the board and presented and they've said yes. That's what,
It hasn't happened to this board then.
in 2020, Colleen reminded you of the times that
I
they've
was
done that.
an alternate. Colleen was running the show that evening as the vice chair.
Yep.
Colleen's decisions are those decisions that Colleen
Okay,
made.
anyways, so what's my protocol for the members? Because it's about them.
Well, I think what I do want to address is that she's in the middle of a class right now. So that's what I want to see if we can at least find a path forward for the short term. I do think going forward, we are going to need to resolve the broader policy issue. So that may be a challenge for your next up class.
Yes.
But I want to give some time to come back to that between now and July to maybe have with a proposal that we could work on between now and then. I think the immediate issue is the liability insurance that would need to have
Yep, I can
Litchfield
add that.
added.
And then just the paperwork, because we don't even know what days and times you're there. And I've followed your page for a while, so I know that you added a third night. And I don't know if the days change or, yeah, so, but, so that we have to have the application with
And
everybody
what did
who
you
is
say?
there.
Because
So
you
if-
don't have a spot for the area in
They
front.
just like healthy
Just note it.
kids running,
Just
just checked
write it
off
in.
Roy
Yeah, other
Memorial
people
Park.
do it.
Okay.
Just Roy Memorial
But
Park.
if you do it as like a general, I'm going to be in Royal Memorial Park, just understand that if there's basketball plays, you don't have authority to say, hey,
She does.
I'm using it.
We
See,
always
if
But
I've been
that's-
there 9
I'm
years.
just stating the obvious.
Okay, I already said that to you that I
I know,
moved.
I'm just reiterating that
Ugh.
you have to be careful with the other orgs that are going to be out there that have approval, that you can be flexible
Yeah,
on.
you
That's
mentioned that.
all I'm stating the point.
So let me do
We've
this.
moved
I'm-
when kids come to get to play basketball. If we're on the courts, we pick up.
You're
and
there
leave.
first, right? If it's,
No. We
you
yeah,
leave. See, now-
we pick up our stuff and move out of their way. Even if we were there first, so we try to be as least invasive as possible. We find because also we don't want people watching us.
We've been looking the other way because if you came to us and said, I'm going to go exercise at Darrah Pond, good, have fun. Me and a couple friends are going to go exercise at Darrah Pond. Great, have fun. The issue comes when you start running for business on town property and the liability. And what about the rest of the taxpayers? That's where we could no longer turn our heads. When you started getting upset because the gate was locked because you thought you were entitled to have it open.
When you say
and we were
entitled,
trying-
it's because the president gave me the code and said,
Well, there's
Debbie,
no president.
there was whoever
Chair.
John Bryant was. Sorry that I don't know the logistics. My goodness.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion to approve the Darrah boot camp for the remainder of June, pending insurance with Litchfield named in the liability insurance and receiving a request form filled out tomorrow.
Okay.
And then have us revisit it in July, dealing with for-profit businesses charging fees on town property.
So you're
July
saying
12th.
with the form and with insurance
Yep,
to cover through the end of,
tomorrow that the boot camp would be operate in its current space through the end of June.
I'll second that.
That's the end of your current session.
Yep.
so
All right, so,
discussion.
all right. So I think that we need to kind of split it right here. She's in the middle of a session. She did come to us with communication. There were communication errors on my part and past committee's part. And so I want to own part of that and not disrupt where she is right now. The broader issue is not about the boot camp. It's about us having for-profits charging fees on town property, the liability, protecting the taxpayers, and setting up a process that is fair for everybody that comes to us. Doesn't matter if they're big, small, whatever. We have a process that can manage all of that. If we decide we can't do it, then we can't do it. We did make that decision to protect the properties, make it for nonprofits a couple years ago, town residents. That's where we landed.
Yep.
Maybe we land there again, but I think we need to grapple with that. And I think we can do that, with some homework over the next couple of weeks.
I have one question. Does your insurance cover your participants or does it cover just you? If somebody gets who?
It's
If-
here.
To me,
Here's
I haven't
copy,
read it in
Steve.
a long time.
That's right.
Umbrella
So
liability.
the breakdown is on the right, but I don't know,
It-
like,
Insured,
areas,
Debbie
how much
Rice,
is
boot
supposed to
camp
be
at Darrah. Now is boot camp at Darrah Pond, that's the title of the company, right?
And no, I go through Debbie Rice. I file a Schedule C through me. I just
Just
do
your name.
business as.
Now, do your participants sign any waivers or
Yes.
you sign a liability waiver? Releasing you or the town?
I'd have to read it again, but it's probably just me. I don't. And Darrah Pond. I think I have it on there, Darrah Pond and Talon Hall. Darrah Pond, I think is
Does
what it is.
If it specifies releasing the town of London, town of Hudson, town of Litchfield from liability, I don't have a problem with it. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm not trying to be difficult to you. I'm just. All right.
If she changes her waivers,
He's just adding that.
I just want to make
Insurance.
Can I see the,
What were you saying about something in the bylaws? Thing
the bylaws for the Recreation Commission have a hierarchy of who, you know.
Yeah, police and
Who
fires
uses-
first. Who gets priority?
Right.
On
yeah,
field.
police,
No,
fire,
but
The last
school.
one
But the last-
is other groups with,
Ties
Oh,
to
okay.
Litchfield.
Okay.
yeah, with groups groups and organizations that have some ties to the Litchfield community.
Yep.
Proof of insurance by the organization, town of Litchfield
But it's
listed
not
as
an,
an additional
not an
insured.
organization. That's where
That's
we have to change things. It's a,
Well-
it's a company.
Groups and organizations, profit or for-profit is not addressed in here at all.
No, it's not.
So I would say that, you know, a for-profit organization is not excluded from using town property, not by the bylaws. There's nothing in here that says for-profit organizations are excluded, right? It just says groups and organization with ties to the community, and their
90%
goal
Litchfield.
is to benefit the citizens, the taxpayers of the town. And I think the cost to the town, I'm not sure I could calculate it in
No,
fractions
it's
of pennies.
minimal.
It's-
No, but in the past
In this
boards, there
case.
have been some talk about
Oh, sure.
what would the fee be, and it would go towards wherever, you know, like he said, field maintenance in town is 87,000.
yeah, 70%
Dollars.
of our budget is field
Yeah.
maintenance.
So this,
Thank
the COI says the medical expense is limited to $5,000 per person. For any one person, the insurance covers $5,000.
Somebody jumps a dumbbell on their toe
Yeah, that would,
or whatever.
yeah.
We signed the waivers.
Right.
So it's my
Yeah.
own fault.
Yeah, so if, I think it makes sense to have the town of Litchfield included in the waivers.
Yep.
And the town of Litchfield on the COI, but, you know, with a $5,000 limit, you walk through the door at the ER and you're done.
Right.
So the town needs protection beyond what's in the COI.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and I
something I have
think-
to speak with legal about to see if there's a minimum requirement that they would want to see.
Yeah, I think the minimum, the umbrella minimum of $1 million, I know is there, and I'm not sure about the other details of it.
Yeah.
So what would be, thinking in the context of the motion that's on the table, what would be your plan beyond the end of June?
You mean before this meeting or now?
Before this meeting?
I would start another session and I would only do 2 days a week because I did 3 days a week for them to add flexibility, but it's just been too hard with my schedule. So I'd go back to what I've done for the last 9 years, Tuesday and Thursday. 5-minute class.
For a 6-week,
And that's
Okay.
it.
and you, July, August, September?
I usually go through Halloween.
through
I used to
Halloween.
rent space from the church in the winter, Litchfield Presbyterian. I did that for like 8 years until COVID. And then, but I stopped since COVID and now I have a different job.
Okay, all right.
Well, we want to, on the table right now, we have to address just till the end of June right now, so that we can,
Right.
she can finish with the people she started in paying, and then we would look into legal.
We're not going to
and
meet
Troy.
again until the middle of July.
But if Steve gets the information and can put it out to us, there are things that we have been able to approve.
Yeah, we can
We
approve
aren't
it
here.
contingent of
Yeah.
the requirements as Peter stated.
So even though we might not physically be here,
Okay,
we can, like we voted to, we didn't have a meeting, but we were able to have a vote to
to vote,
support
through email.
picnic in the park
Okay.
yeah,
with a monetary amount of money. So even though we're not physically here, there is kind of a way.
Yeah, well, this would be a
Or it could be
motion and it would be
contingent.
contingent of, and we could vote on it. And if the contingencies are not followed through, or if town legal comes back and says no, then we know. But if the contingencies of the 2 requirements Pete stated, then it's passed.
So would you be willing to fill out 2 forms, one to get you through the end of June? So we have the paperwork from you that we have on everybody else on the fields.
Yep, field
That's our
usage, yep.
saying, yep, we know they're on these
Yep.
times. And then fill out from there on. And your insurance, I believe, would cover that next session as long as the town is listed,
Yep.
right? And gives you time to get information, but if we put it on the same, we don't want to put it on the same. I think we want two different motions.
And
So that,
I think moving forward as well is just a little bit better communication as well. Like as far as, you know, this is my next session's this and this and this. Just so like we can always like, we're trying to be better with our town calendars. That's been a big issue where, you know, we didn't even know people were on the field and somebody's like, can we use it? And we're like, gee, I don't know if you can use it or not. Like,
it's
we
just
don't know
we've
if
gotten
anybody's there.
so many buildings,
Yeah.
So-
not buildings, but so many fields and
Right. Yeah.
that it's been really tough to.
We have 7 parks and properties and parks that we try to manage between us, and we all work full time. There's a lot. I don't have any kids that use it anymore. My youngest is 21. I do it just because I like giving back to the town. And her husband sucked me in, rope-a-doped, and the next thing you know,
Okay, watch out for that.
yeah. But I don't do it out of spite. I do it out of the love of town and making sure I totally support you. I just, like I said,
I feel it.
I'm worried about, as the chairman, the town of Litchfield.
Yes.
If you were on this board, you would do the same thing. I would hope you would do the same thing. I know everybody else would.
So Steve, if you're going to try to talk to Troy and get some legal guidance within the next week?
I will send Troy an email tonight. I don't know how quickly they respond. But that's, yeah.
So let me ask, take it back to the motion, because I think going forward, I'm not even ready to kind of have, we're trying to solve that
Yes.
problem. I'm not prepared
Right.
to do that. I just want to kind of solve the immediate problem
Yes.
and give her a green light for the next couple of weeks, make sure we have what we need for request, liability insurance, get into the changes for waivers and that thing. I think we need to deal with that
Yep.
going forward, not ask her to do that at this time. It's just getting the town on the insurance liability. So that's what I'm asking
Yeah.
for.
So
Kind
the
of
motion's on the table in a second. So
Yeah. So the 2 requirements is list the town on the insurance and fill out the form. Fill it out, send it to Judy. She's the secretary. She'll make sure it's filed properly.
All right, Judy, is your email address listed somewhere?
It's on the form.
or you could send
Yeah,
to
I'm
RC.
looking right now if I can find the form on my phone and send it to you.
I have it. If it's just the same old one, right? It doesn't say anything about courts or anything, right? It just says field one.
just
So,
listed-
and
Yeah.
just cross off Roy
Roy
Memorial
Memorial
Park.
Park.
Okay. So we're looking for that through the end of June. And then the insurance.
Through the end of June.
Yeah, we'll say June 30th. 30th, yeah.
Okay. Any more? I thought we're at gas.
All right, so let's bring it to a vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So then I'll just wait to hear back after that for July.
Yeah, I'll acknowledge that I received them, but
Our next meeting is July 12th. Once again, here at 7 PM. We have meetings second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Or you want me to come to
However-
the next one too? Yeah.
I would do the next one and have it, if your insurance is gonna cover, I would do 2 separate forms. One, because we approved tonight,
Right.
and then the
Yeah.
next one, you have it in already with your
For July.
insurance,
Okay.
Yeah.
so that you don't have to wait.
But I don't have
Just
to
do it
keep
for the-
doing one every month,
just
right?
do it for
No,
the
but
rest of the
then you
year.
would do it
Okay,
Yeah.
till October.
for, yeah.
Yeah, until you're done.
Yeah, like
That's what I would
Okay.
say.
Once a year, and then it'll
Um,
expire in October.
one of them has it, they use soccer. They started like June and they went to the end of September.
Yeah.
So we're okay with the blanket, but we just need to know who's there, what are you doing, ideas, and then protected.
But I'm on pause until you guys figure out the
You
fee
could continue to
structure.
the end of June.
right
Fine.
after
And
June.
then-
Though,
We hear from
because
legal.
these members don't have gym memberships like basically I am their workouts, so
Right.
we're on pause from July till you guys figure out a plan.
Well, so how would you have between July 1st and July 12th? You'd have a couple, right?
I would probably have 4 classes like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, we would try to move on it
So-
quick and get, number one is the legal piece that we need to
That's the
know.
biggest.
And then, yeah, it's the biggest, and then, but at least you'll have your paperwork, and so we won't have to say, well, we're waiting for the paperwork.
Okay.
I mean, I can't see it taking
So you
6
guys are
weeks.
responsible for everything in town or just these fields?
The 7 parks.
Recreation properties.
So just
Recreation
recreation properties.
Correct.
Which
Well, and there's
include-
some that are reservable and some aren't.
Sawmill, Jeff Lane.
So when you say
Darrah.
sawmill, you drive in that parking lot, there's the
That
tennis
whole-
courts.
Yeah.
tennis courts,
And the
the
field.
soccer
What about
fields,
outside the tennis courts? Is that you
the
too?
dirt, it's
The
Are
field,
you?
yes.
the field.
What about out here by the veranda? That's not you guys.
No.
That's,
The town.
That's
Perfect.
town.
That's the town.
River access
So
is
we-
And then
us.
schools
Memorial
responsible for
Park.
their own.
John Bryant River access, Parker Park, Corning Road.
Yeah.
Talent hall.
Okay.
Talent Hall, yeah.
You know,
Here's
Scott Ennis
It
Field,
works for you.
Sawmill Brook.
It does.
go
So
for
there's
it.
some things that
Seems to be
are
less of a
reservable and
headache.
aren't, some aren't.
What?
There's some things reservable and some aren't. Like, there was talk about being able to reserve the pavilion, and we did not vote that in
Oh,
because
what,
we've
at,
got so many other,
Or at Darrah.
yeah, there's already so many areas that we're scheduling with. It's just like one extra thing, and you know, there's a, you know, it was
I've got a
built for the
huge
community
lawn that
use
you'll
and
have to
everything,
hang
but-
out with my kids.
I would do
If
it.
anyone wants that.
I've met your kid.
But then
Move on.
work.
Baseball.
Okay.
Can we move on, please?
Yes.
Yeah. What, you want to eat dinner tonight? All right. So we're good
Yeah.
then. I'm going to leave.
Yep, you're all set till the end of June.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
try to get the paperwork to
Yeah.
Judy as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think you had her work out for tonight. Just
I think someone turned the AC off. Right back.
All right, I guess you're here for basketball, even though you didn't give us any forward warning, huh?
I didn't. I wasn't. I was actually probably not planning on doing it, but
Oh,
too many
okay.
people said they would be upset if I didn't. So I apologize.
That's all right.
So that's my request. Yeah, I just got a promotion at my work, which is great, but I'm going to be limited on how many nights I can commit to this. But I do have assistance. Oh, and I brought in some flyers for those who aren't familiar with it.
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I printed a couple. This is last year's.
Oh,
flyer,
okay.
but I brought a couple.
Thanks.
Just to give it out.
Outdoor courts. 50 hours for class, team, high school.
I didn't realize there was required notice ahead of time. So I apologize for that.
That's all right.
So basically the same program that we've run, I don't know, last 5 or 6 years.
Yep. Look for Judy to come back,
Okay.
Secretary Brennan, to make sure you have the insurance and all that.
It's through basketball? I forget.
It's
LRBL.
through the rec department.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how
Oh, yeah,
we've done it.
The rec
Yeah.
basketball.
No, through you guys, through
Through
the,
our
yeah,
rec.
through rec.
It's
So through the rec commission, the checks are made out to the rec commission.
Yeah.
And all proceeds come
That's
back to the,
right.
yes.
Yep. So you're covered under our insurance. How about youth background check, youth camp background check? Have you done that recently?
I have to get one because I'm a high school official, so I have to get one through them. And then
Okay.
the two people who are going to help me are Hannah Neal and Justin DiBenedetto, who are both the varsity coaches of the high school. So I'm assuming they have to get background checks. I would assume to coach a high school team, but I'm not.
Check with them.
I'm 99% sure that they have to pass a background check before they can be hired by the high school. But I will confirm that.
So there's a form on the
I saw
on
that.
the website that
And I can fill that out.
fill that out.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't coached in a few years, but I did the whole Corey thing when I coached my daughter in soccer and everything. I don't know how long it's good for. But I think I did it 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, I
And
think
Andy, I think. Remember
You
right?
have you do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something they require every year.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, every year now? Okay.
and
Yeah,
just to
it's
be
basically just sending it in a check to the state for $25 saying that you have all your background checks in place.
Okay.
And they send you just a letter and then you give it to us.
Okay.
That's all it is.
All right.
So we're just trying to be consistent as
Fine.
you just witnessed, making sure that we have the forms in place, the insurances in place. As your rec league, you're going to be covered underneath us.
Yep.
And if you can get the background check, when does this start? Starts after our next meeting.
Yeah, that's why I scrambled to come tonight because I asked Mike when the next meeting was and he goes, tonight. And I'm like, oh boy. So, I literally kind of confirmed tonight that I was going to keep it going. and
Last
then-
minute?
Yeah. And I ran over here.
All right, as soon as Judy comes
Yeah, that's
back
fine.
in, we'll move on it. How many kids do you think will get signed up?
So last year we had 5 teams, but there was a big senior class. So I think
Yeah.
it would probably be probably 4 this year, I would think. But I don't know how many 8th graders will come up, but with having Hannah, I'm thinking more girls might want to play. So we'll see. You know, if she's part of it, that they'll probably want to come out and play as
Yep.
well.
Are you going to try to do the tournament again like you did last year? Or is that this isn't it, right? Weren't you doing what'd you do last summer? Was this it?
Yeah. Yeah, we had the, it's games every night, and then we do playoffs and championships. So that might, I mean, I know he came down one night, but it was, we did an all-star game last year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do that again. That wasn't,
Yeah,
might come up with something different.
A lot of the previous high schoolers,
Yeah. So it kind of turned into an older kids game, which was fine, but
that's not what you.
yeah. The younger kids were kind of all checked out at the last minute because they had getting ready for their seasons and things.
You ever move indoors in bad weather?
I do.
or-
So I put that on the sheet that if it rains, we will go inside. So that's why I asked for the courts and Talent Hall.
Okay. I
Um,
didn't see it on here, but
yeah,
Fine.
I put it on. I just wrote it in on the sheet that we filled out.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and we kind of do it under.
Would you mind going out to ask Judy to come back and join the meeting,
Take a
please?
vote on it. Yeah.
So one thing at Talent Hall, we've been shutting the water off. We've burned up 80% of our budget already, and we don't know why. We're not seeing. If you're in there, if you decide if you have to go in for over by the bathroom, there's the red cabinet. Use it.
Is that
you know,
for
turn-
like the toilets and stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Turn
run
it
the
off.
toilet.
Yep.
Shut it off when you're done. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't see any leaks. The meter's not working, but it's just horrendously expensive.
Ideally, we won't have to go inside, but because we like to play outside as much as possible.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So, Jason is
Sorry
here
about that.
about the Litchfield summer basketball. He's going to run from July 11th through. This is old.
Yeah, I put it the right dates on one
yeah.
of them.
July 13th through 8/14/2022 from 5 to 8 p.m. on the courts at Talent Hall and possibly inside Talent Hall during inclement weather. He is a rec subcommittee, so his insurance is covered under ours. All the proceeds he makes, he sends a check to the Litchfield Recreation Commission. I would remind you, please send that to Ms. White as soon as possible.
Yes. Well, and
Save me the phone call.
So Steve, inevitably, a couple kids give me the checks like they're on vacation the first
Yeah.
week, and I throw them in my bag, and then when I'm cleaning up at the end of the year, I go, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
So,
He teaches high school, and the two gentlemen working with him are also high school coaches, but they are going to do the necessary background checks.
well, you would know, Judy, if they teach if it's Justin and Hannah, they have to be background checks,
If they're
right?
teachers, they've already been
Well, the
fingerprinted.
coaches. Well,
The
actually,
coaches-
they're both teachers, just
Yeah.
not in our system. I don't
So,
think.
yeah,
Oh,
but you
that's-
still have to get
Yeah.
fingerprinted and background checked.
Yeah, so so I'd be probably the only one that would have to do it then.
All right. So we'd make a motion to improve this contingent that you get your background check. And as soon as you send the information, just let Judy know.
Yep.
And she'll mark it down.
I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve Litchfield Rec Summer Basketball from July 13th, 2022 through August 14th, 2022 from 5 to 8 p.m. At Talent Hall and inside the basketball courts at Talent Hall and inside if due to inclement weather. Contingent that you get Judy some proof that you have submitted your background check.
How long does that take to come back? Do you know? Does anybody know?
I have no idea. No idea.
I don't know. There might be a wait on that because everybody's getting back into the sports and everything. So, but as long as
You
you,
got to.
Yeah, just submit it. I mean,
As long as I'm submitted, yeah.
we'll notice if you don't show up anywhere. We'll understand.
Yeah.
It's like called New Hampshire Youth.
Yeah, I
Skills
saw it
Camp.
when I was filling it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I did it for soccer for a year, so
There's
I
actually
haven't been arrested since. So I should be good.
since
then if you're already in their system, it might be even quicker.
Okay, good. I don't know if I'm in that system. I think it was Corey. They
you have to update the website because when I went to it today, they direct you to a new one. IF page has changed,
Okay.
but it's easy enough to get to. We'll update our webpage tonight. All right. Any other discussion on this? And I,
Did you get a second?
I seconded.
zero. Thank you, Jason.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
That,
And will I get a code again or just in case?
yeah, the code you had before probably worked, but if not,
I
I'll,
honestly don't remember what it was. But
Okay,
I think I'll find it.
I'll send you a,
Give it a test before.
Yeah. I found that out the hard way.
I'll send you an email tonight. I think I still have your email.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks everyone.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Nice to see you, Judy. Tell Jay I said hi.
I will.
All right, and that is all we had, right?
That's enough for one night.
Yeah, that's enough.
Um,
One last thing, we have to make a vote
that.
on the future meeting dates. We're in our summer schedule, so we're not gonna, I'll make a motion that we go into our summer schedule. We will not have another meeting in June. Our next meeting will be July 12th, and then we will not have a second meeting in July. We'll return to normal August 9th, 2022.
I'll second.
Any discussion? No?
So we're just going to skip the second meeting in July.
Yeah, skip
Second meeting. in July.
Skip June's second meeting and July's second meeting. Yep.
Okay.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
500. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
No, I have one other.
What do you got?
I want to make a motion that Andy Ruggles host the Rec Commission annual pool party.
Second.
Anyone want a second. Any discussion?
All in
No
favor, say aye.
discussion? All in favor? Aye. Took over your job.
That's
Okay.
fine. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 500. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you, Victor.